This is Bob Murphy welcoming you to the first regular season game in the history of the New York Mets. Brought to you by Rheingold Extra Dry. Tonight, the New York Mets meet the St. Louis Cardinals right here in St. Louis. There's your announcer, Bob Cameron, on hand to bring you every bit of... Well, hi there, everybody. This is Bob Murphy.
Fresh start. Baseball teams across.
Meet the Mets, meet the Mets. Step right up and greet the Mets. Bring your kiddies, bring your wife. Guaranteed to have the time of your life because the Mets are really solid the ball. Knocking those home runs over the wall. East side, west side, everybody's coming down to meet the NETS Mets of New York. Oh, the butcher and the baker and the people on the streets, where do they go? To meet the Mets. Oh, they're hollering, they're cheering, and they're jumping in their seats. Where do they go? To meet the Mets. All the fans are true to the orange and blue. So hurry up and come on down. Cause we got ourselves a ball from the Mets of New York town. Give them a yell. Give them a hand.
Hey, welcome everybody. CP Cards and Dice, and I've returned to my 1979 replay using Payoff pitch of the horrific 1979 Mets season, which I think they lose. In actuality, they lose 99 games. Now, I don't want to even look to see how many games I've lost, but it's been quite a painful experience. I would do a few things differently, and perhaps really, I don't know how many things I would do differently, but one thing I would do differently is I'd hit and run more. That's the only thing I could say about this dreadful season that I've played with the Mets. I've lost lots of games. I have lots of stats, though. That's a good thing for Payoff pitch. And in this game is going quite well, actually. We're in the top of the seventh. I just reshuffled the cards. I'm using fast action cards, nice and quiet. And it works very, very well with Payoff pitch. I think it's the best way to do it with Payoff pitch. I got Pete Falcone on the mound for the Mets. He was a lefty who pitched in 31 games for them. He pitched in 31 games for them. He pitched 184 innings. Was 6-14, so he had a dreadful record but he had a 4.16 ERA, which actually by today's standards is extremely acceptable. I guess by those standards in that day, not so much. But really, I mean, he held his own. Gave up 24 home runs in 184 innings. And he's going up against Nino Espinosa for the Phillies. I got both starters are still in there. Now, Nino Espinosa becomes a fatigue pitcher in the seventh, so you probably see me changing him out. And he's not due up. Well, he may come up in this inning. We don't know what's going to happen because Greg Luzinski's stepping in the box. So I will be periodically bringing up some stats for different players. So let's get started, and we'll see how this works. Payoff pitch, great little game. So that's a 7. We're going to look on the pitcher first. The 7 is tough, so it's a tough pitch. So we're going to look in Luzinski's tough category, and it's going to be against the lefty, so it's on the left side. It's going to be a 95. There's no 95 there, so you go down to the out area, and it's going to be a fly to left. Joel Youngblood is playing left field for the Mets, and he's under that. And that's 1 away. So next is, well, I have a lot of lights on here. Let me see. That's better, I think. Not really. Let's see if we can do this. Yeah, that's good. All right. Bob Boone, he's 1 for 2. He's grounded out and singled. It's going to be a 10. That's in play, 88 in play. And the cards have been really on Falcone's side today. It's a ground ball hit at Tavares. Oh, I hit fly ball. I'm using iScore on a 10-inch iPad. Picked it up for about $85, $90 online on eBay. You can get those. Does the job. Makes everything pretty large for me so I can follow it, as you can see. You got it on the screen. Gary Maddox is up. He's 1 for 2. These are the only two that basically Boone and Maddox are the only two guys that have gotten hits off of Falcone today. He's pitched a 2-hitter. Like I said, every card turn has gone in his favor. Pete Falcone, left-hander, versus Gary Maddox, 2 outs, top of the 7th. It's a 7. It's tough. So that's an advantage for Falcone. Tough 94. And that's going to be a fly ball, high fly ball, lifted to left field. Back goes third baseman Hebner. In comes Youngblood with the call, makes the call and makes the catch. And that's 3 up, 3 down for Pete Falcone. Pete Falcone is looking like, Tom Seaver. Joel Youngblood is up. He's 2 for 3 on the day. Let's see what Joel Youngblood is up batting. Everybody's within a particular realistic range, I would say. Now, he batted about 275. Okay, now he's one of the ones that are off by just a little bit. He's batting 240 in our replay. He batted 275. So, he's 35 points off. There's one guy that's batting basically 30 points higher, one guy 30 points lower. Everybody else is pretty much within 10 points of their actual batting average. And I found this to be true of any game that you play, whether it be Strat, Status Pro, APA. I found it to be true that it's an approximation. Stats are an approximation. So never expect these things to be, So we're going to have a fatigue card for Espinoza. Now, Espinoza completed 8 games, so we're going to use a fatigue card for him. Espinoza, the way this works, 365 with, so low ERA. Okay, that's a high 4 or more, so he needs a low ERA. Let's see. 4 or more. No, that's not it. Fatigue pitcher card. 4 or more. Okay, 0 to 390 with 0 to 590 strikeouts. That's it. So that's Espinoza's fatigue pitcher card. And here goes. 8. That's patient. A patient 42. And that's going to be line drive base hit for Youngblood. So Youngblood with his 3rd hit of the game. And it's John Stearns. John Stearns is 2 for 3. Now, for example, John Stearns, right? He's in the season. He's batting 251. In actuality, he batted 246. So he's batting 5 points higher than his actual average, which is pretty good. He has 15 home runs in the replay. In actuality, he had 9 home runs. So he actually went on a tear earlier in the season where he had 6 home runs or 7 home runs in the first month. And after that, it kind of tapered off. So he's about that 1 month is what makes a difference for his home run total. But I got other guys that are right on the nose. But again, this is something that you can only get within a range. You're never going to have an absolute. All right, so Youngblood is on at first. There's nobody out. John Stearns, the batter. It's 3 patient. Patient 85. It's not in the patient section, so you go to the out section, and 85 is going to be a 6-4-3. Well, I'm not sure yet because the double play is a 9 there, and so it's going to be a 9 basically. We're going to say it's a 9. There's no double play for fatigue pitcher, so we can see that his double play rating was an 8. So 8 or less is going to be a double play. And we rolled a 7, so it's a 6-4-3 double play, 2 outs. Now the Mets are up here. I don't think I mentioned the score, but the Mets are up by a score of 5-0. So it's a Larry Boa to Manny trio, back to Rose playing first, double play, 2 outs. So John Stearns hits into a double play, and it's Alex Trevino. Here's the pitch from Espinosa, 7. That's wheelhouse 99. That's going to be a pop-up. And Schmidt, he's under it, makes the catch. All right, so that retires the side for the Mets. It's the top of the 8th for the Phils, Pete Falcone. We're at Shea Stadium. Here's the pitch from Falcone. That's a 5. Ballpark 69. That's going to take us into the out of the wheelhouse and into the in play. In play 24 against Lonnie Smith, and that's going to be popped up to the right side. Second baseman Flynn under it makes the catch, 1 away. Larry Boa. That's a 5. That's ballpark 26. That's going to be wheelhouse for Boa. Wheelhouse for Boa 99 is going to be a pop up again to the left side, and Hebner makes the catch. And now it's Espinosa. So we're going to pinch hit, and the guy that the Phils back then used for pinch hitting, and that's basically how I play it. They used the great thing about payoff pitches, you got like almost every single card, and they have extra cards, so you do get every single card. And this is going to be Greg Gross. You see his card there. He did a lot of pinch hitting, but I mean, to be honest, Pete Falcone's a lefty. So Anderson is a guy. Vukovic, no, wait a second. Yeah, Pete Vukovic is a third baseman. He's going to pinch hit. That makes more sense because John Vukovic. I called him Pete Vukovic, but it's John Vukovic. So John Vukovic is going to pinch hit. Yeah, he didn't really bat against lefties. He only hit against righties. All right, so John Vukovic, here's the pitch 8. Patient 14. He doesn't have anything against lefties. So he didn't bat against lefties, basically. Yeah, he didn't bat against lefties, so I can't bat him. I can't hit him. Wait a second. So let's undo that. Rod Reed. Let's see who we have. I know McCarver's another lefty. Wow, I'm just going to have to check the box score to know exactly what's the deal here. Because I got a lot of people, but I don't know what is what. So let me check the quick the box score for that game, and I have it up somewhere. 1979 Mets schedule. Thought I had it up. Did not have it up. September 11th. September 11th. This I believe is my second game against the Phils. So I believe it's September 12th game against the Phils. Let me double check that. No. It's a September 11th game. And pinch runner is Mike Anderson. Greg Gross played the outfield. Let's see the next night. Let's see who. Phils. September 12th. John Vukovic played third base. Del Unser, he's a righty. And then the third game, Tim McCarver plays. You know what? We're just going to have to bat a lefty. Bob Boone. All right, we're going to bring in Bob Boone to pinch hit. He's playing. We're going to bring in Tim McCarver to pinch hit. He's lefty versus lefty. So be it. Tim McCarver. Where is he? There he is. Okay. Here goes. 4, Wheelhouse versus a lefty. Wheelhouse 80. And that's going to be a ground ball second base. Flynn throws out McCarver for out number 3. So that's 3 up, 3 down. Easy peasy inning for Pete Falcone, who's really, really going above and beyond here. And we're going to have a new pitcher now for the Phils. And who was pitching at this time? Who do they have on their staff at this time to fill in? Tug McGraw, but he's our closer. Let's see. In this first game, the Phils used Raleigh Eastwick. So we're going to bring in Raleigh Eastwick to finish off this game. All right, click on the pitcher spot. I look for Eastwick, which I've written in at some point because I've played them many times already in the season. Raleigh Eastwick. And I don't seem to have Raleigh Eastwick. I don't know why. Wait a second here. Tug McGraw, Ron Reed. Oh, there he is, Raleigh Eastwick. All right, Eastwick's a right-hander. He had a 4.90 ERA in 51 games. He's going to face Doug Flynn. Here's the pitch. It's 5-0 Mets here in the bottom half of the 8th. That's a 9-off. That's a patient 34. And that's going to be an out. Pop-up right side, trio under it, makes the catch. 1 away. In play 27 for the pitcher Falcone. In play 27 is popped up. This is to the right side. Pete Rose calls for it. Makes the catch. 2 down, 2 pop-ups. And a 9. A patient 95. Patient 95 is a fly ball left field. Greg Luzinski got it measured. Makes the catch. All right, so that brings up Pete Rose, and Pete Falcone is pitching a 2-hitter. Holy smokes. And Pete Falcone had 1 complete game, and this is going to be probably the only complete game because we're going to let him try to complete the shutout. So it's going to be Rose, Trio, and Schmidt versus Pete Falcone, who everything has gone Pete Falcone's way today. He's pitched a 2-hitter, and every single card is gone in Falcone's favor. So Pete Rose, who's 0 for 3, he's struck out, flied out, and flied out. Here's the pitch. It's an 11. That's ballpark, a 90. That's going to be in play on in play there. And that's going to be a 12. And in play 12 is going to be a line drive base hit to left. And Youngblood plays it in on a hop. Pete is on at first base. So there's some stirring in the Mets bullpen now. And that's a 4. That's Wheelhouse. Wheelhouse for Manny Trio. That's a 10. A Wheelhouse 10 is going to be a deep drive to left field. Back goes Youngblood to the track, to the wall. It's out of here. Manny Trio makes the score 5-2 with a 2-run blast here in the top of the 9th inning at Shea Stadium. Now, Trio had 6 home runs, 2 of which came off of lefties. And he happens to hit 1 against Pete Falcone here in the 9th inning. And we're going to bring in, it's going to be it for, we're going to bring in Jeff Reardon. So that's it for Pete Falcone. Reardon's coming in. We're looking for Jeff Reardon. And he goes in. There he is. It's Jeff Reardon versus Mike Schmidt. Here's the pitch, 10. That's tough off Reardon's card. A tough 70. Reardon is a righty. A tough 70 is going to be a, can't even see that. Fly ball, center field. Mazzilli makes the catch. 1 down. Greg Luzinski next. He's 0 for 3. Grounded out, struck out, and flied out. That's a tough 67. And that's going to be a line drive base hit to left for Luzinski. So he's on with a single. Now the tying run is on deck. Bob Boone next. Pitch from Reardon. That's a 10. That's a tough 0-5. That's a strikeout. Boone goes after the high cheese. Fans at it. And it's Gary Maddox. Maddox is 1 for 3. Single, flight out twice. There's 2 outs. Top of the 9th. Mets are up 5-2. And I'll tell you what their record is right after this. Playing payoff pitch. I can see better there now. I just kind of can see the cards better. Anyway, Gary Maddox. Here's the pitch from Jeff Reardon. That's a 4. That's patient. A patient 69. Patient 69 is a ground ball second base. Flynn flips to Taveras, and that's the ball game. Mets win it. Win one finally. And I'm going to input the winning pitcher and so forth. Reardon is going to pick up a save. Winning pitcher is going to be Pete Falcone. Loss is going to go to Nino Espinosa, El Nino. And I think El Nino eventually joins the Mets. I remember Bob Murphy talking about El Nino. Jeff Reardon. And so that's it for that. Let me email my my box score to myself. That way I can post it with a little story on the game. And let's go back into it. Let's look at the Mets record. Let's look at the Mets record right now. Team manager. I go to the Mets. It's going to have all their stats. It keeps everything for me. So they're 48 wins and 94 losses. Yeah, there's no way I'm going to avoid losing 100 games, but I will pull all the stops to avoid that. Okay, I don't want to go down in basically infamy, right, in tabletop managing baseball world for actually losing 100 games. That would be tremendously embarrassing and hurt my credibility, for my channel immensely. So I want to avoid that at all costs, losing those 100 games. They lost 99 in actuality. I'm very, very close to that record, 48 wins. I still have 20 games to go. So it's going to be almost impossible. I figure I'm going to lose at least 110 games, man, to be honest with you. I just don't know. Unless I have a really terrible schedule, I just don't know how I'm going to avoid losing at least 110 games. I don't see myself winning more than 5 games out of 20. So this is a horrible, horrible experience. So all my team stats are here. And I'll bring up, I don't know what I can tell you about my team stats. Team sucks. It's calculating everything. It's got everything up. So Lee Mazzilli is really the bright spot for the Mets, batting .328. He batted .302 in reality. 22 doubles, 14 home runs. Who else? Steve Henderson, who had 300 at-bats, who's basically went on the injured list. I never saw him after 94 games. He batted .280. That was close to his actual stats. Taveras is batting .248. He batted, I think, .260 in reality. Richie Hebner batted about .250. He's batting .238. So really, the Mets had a terrible. I think Doug Flynn is batting. He's the other anomaly where he's batting 200, and in actuality, he batted like .240. But other than that, everybody's pretty much on target. Now the pitching, Greg Swan, his ERA is 3 in 229 innings, 11-11 record. That's almost spot on. Pete Falcone, 358. He had a 4.16 ERA. ERAs are very, very hard to kind of replicate. What you want to replicate more or less, I like the hits basically versus the pitcher. That's more realistic if you can replicate that, and the extra base hits as well. And I think Payoff Pitch does a good job of doing that. So pretty much that's it for now. So this is CP Cards and Dice. I'm going to head out to the gym, and when I come back, I'm going to play another game with my 1979 Mets. I want to finish this season. I'm only 20 games away. It's not easy. So I'm showing you how to set this up in iScore. iScore is a really great system. It's free. It's got it's not the learning curve is not very steep. You just gotta kind of get through it a little bit, but it's not really. There's not a lot of bells and whistles. It's pretty straightforward. So let's set up a game real quick here. I'll show you how to do that. So you go into game manager. You go into add game visitor. Who's the visitor? It's the Phillies versus the Mets. This is going to be September 12th. So I'm going to write that in September 12th. I want to have all the right dates on there so I know what game I'm talking about, especially as it comes towards the end. September 12th is on there. So then that's done. So then the next step takes you to the lineups. You see, you just hit the arrow, score game, and now it's going to bring up the lineups. And then I check the lineups with the actual lineups. And let's see. So the 12th, September 12th. Yep, it's going to be Phillies in New York. And for the Phillies, it's going to be, let's see. Let's go to the Phillies. You hit visitor. It's going to be Rose, Trio, McBride, and Schmidt. Okay, so I got to get Bake McBride in there. And he's at the bottom because I've used him before. So I have the whole roster right here. So you just kind of pull him up with your finger, put him in the third spot. McBride is batting right field. He's fielding right and right. He's playing in right. So he bats third. After that is Schmidt. So Schmidt is there. After that is Luzinski. Then it's Boone. Got that in there. Then it's Maddox, Boa. So the only guy I'm removing is Lonnie Smith. And everything is staying the same except for the pitcher. So I pull out Smith. And now I got to replace the pitcher. The pitcher for this game is Randy Lurch. And there's Lurch right there. He's pitched against me already this season. Okay, so that's the batting order. That's all I got to do for the Phils. Now I go to the Mets, and I'm following the actual lineup. Taveras, Maddox, and Mazzilli. So Maddox is already there. He's going to play third base. So we're going to put him in at third base. That means we're going to remove Hebner. So Hebner is out, I believe. Yeah, Hebner's not playing first or anything. So Hebner's out, so I'm going to pull out Hebner. Oh. All right, so it's Taveras, Maddox, Mazzilli, Stearns, and Youngblood. So Stearns goes to that fourth spot. And Stearns is at first base. I have him at catcher. All right, I fixed that. So I'm getting rid of Cranepool. Cranepool's not in this game. So next is going to be Norman, Trevino. So Dan Norman, he's at the bottom. Trevino is also at the bottom, I believe. So Norman's going to come up. So this is how long it takes. It just takes a couple of seconds. Sometimes it takes less than this. So Trevino's going to come up. He's going to be a catcher today. So I'm putting him in the mix. And then Dan Norman, and Dan Norman's already in there. So it's going to be Norman and Trevino. So I'm going to put Norman in the sixth spot. Trevino goes to the seventh spot. Flynn and Swan. Flynn and then Craig Swan. And I'm done. Swanee's in there. So this is a good opportunity if the Mets play well, it's a good opportunity to win another ball game here, which would be done. And I'm ready to roll. I'm ready to play another game. I double check all the lineups. Kind of, there's nothing that stands out. There's no anomalies. I don't have too many batters. Everything's in place. There you go. So I'm ready for my next game. I'm going to go out. I'm going to work out for a while, going to the gym, and I will be back with some more payoff pitch. And I got to continue my deep drive. I'm in game 3 for my 2019 Mets season using deep drive baseball. I really like it. I'm learning the rules slowly but surely. I reread them every day at work this week, and I'm getting better at them. I have unanswered questions, and then when I approach the rules, I find those answers. So that's exciting for me. These are the things that excite me at this stage in my life. So this is CP Cards and Dice. And I will see you guys soon. Thanks for stopping by. And it's Mets win a game in my 79 replay by a score of 5-2 over the Phillies. Take care.